And for more on this, we have Guy Ziv, who's an assistant professor at the School of International Services U.S. Foreign Policy Program. Guy, great to have you back. So curious, why did President Rivlin choose Netanyahu to form the next government, particularly when he's facing criminal charges and his Likud party actually won fewer seats than his rival?
Likud won one fewer seat than its main rival, the centrist blue and white party led by Benny Gantz. But I think what we have to look at here are the blocks and the number of recommendations that were given by each party to the president. And so the president felt that Netanyahu was in a slightly better position, and I emphasize the word slightly better, to form a coalition, although it looks very unlikely that he's going to be able to do so within his allotted time. He has 28 days. He can get an extension. It may not even get to the 28 days. He may turn back the keys, give back the mandate to the president and say, I tried, couldn't do it. They're not participating.
And then what happens?
And then the president has some discretion. He can give that mandate to Benny Gantz. He can also encourage the parties to figure it out on their own. I mean, there are a lot of different possibilities here. But one thing I think is very important to emphasize is that Netanyahu is not just fighting for his political life. He is fighting to stay out of jail. He is facing no less than three major cases of corruption scandals. And it's up to the Attorney General, who is going to hold a hearing with Netanyahu in October to determine whether or not there are grounds for indicting him. And once he's indicted on, it could be one, two, or all three of those cases, it's almost inconceivable that Netanyahu would be able to lead a government, even if he does succeed in forming a coalition.
So we know that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, usually his address at the General Assembly is always a big headlining one, but we didn't hear from him this year. Actually, a few hours ago, we heard from his foreign minister who took the podium. Among other things, he said that he hopes for a peace deal with the Arab Gulf states. What does announcing that to the UNGA do for Israel?
I think that what he's trying to say is we're not isolated diplomatically. We have very good relations, very cordial relations with many of the moderate Sunni Arab countries. We have a common enemy called Iran. And so we can work together on a diplomatic resolution here. The reality, however, is a lot more complicated because you cannot exclude the Palestinian issue from any larger, any broader comprehensive deal. And I think that the Arab countries have made that very clear. The Israelis understand this as well. And so I don't think this is going to go anywhere until you have a real resumption of the peace process, something that we haven't seen, at least not formally, in 5.5 years.
All right, guys, I appreciate you being with us.
My
Great
pleasure.
to have you back.